Hello, friends. CD from AK3R here, and I'm back with another episode of Unpopular K-pop Opinions. Did you miss it? I know you didn't. um, Disclaimer: I'm wearing the do-rag because I'm trying to do something with my hair. For those of you who don't know, do-rags are actually made for styling. They're made to help style your hair. They're made to help take care of and protect your hair. Yes, they're used. Some people use them as like a clothing accessory, but they were originally made to help us black people style our hair and protect our hair. Because normally when I see people who aren't black wearing do-rags, I'm just like, why? Why? You don't need that. Why are you wearing it? But it's whatever. It's whatever. Whatever. You live your life. Live your life. You do you. I wanted to talk to you guys about, TV-made K-pop groups. There's two kinds of TV-made K-pop groups. The first is documentary-based. These are just mainly shows that document these individual trainees or group of trainees and the days leading up to their debut. Two groups that fall under this category is 17 and Astro. A lot of people don't know that Astro used to be called iTeen. I remember this because I remember back when Vine was a thing. I used to always see these little clips of iTeen just acting fools. They would be goofing around in their practice room. They'd just be practicing, chilling about, going about their day, and they were called iTeen. And then finally, when they made their debut, they were called Astro. They changed their name to Astro. 17, as you know, 17 was supposed to have 17 members. They were supposed to have 17 members. Didn't work out that way, but if you watch, there was 17 TV, and then there's 17 Project, and that's been on for years. Some of these boys have been in 17 for a long time, long time, and that show's been on for years. I mean, it had been on for years, and then as it got closer to when they're actually going to make their debut, 17 Project came on TV, and we got to see they were given challenges. They were in that school, and they surprised those school people. They performed in that parking lot. They were just trying to challenge the boys, so that way when it was finally time for them to make their debut, they were ready. Because they wanted that Pledis wanted 17 to do well. They wanted them to do well. There really is not much of a downside to, well, in my unbiased opinion, there's really not much of a downside to the documentary-based groups because it hypes you up, it gets you the attention you need. And with both documentary-based and the other type that I'm going to talk about later in this video, the main upside is that it showcases your talent, it showcases your skills, and it gets you a decent amount of fans. So even if something doesn't work out and you don't make it into the final lineup, or you eventually leave the group and the group disbands, you'll still be fine if you decide to continue your career, because all your fans from that show or when you were in the group will follow you into your next career. Make sense? Okay, stay with me now. This is about to get complicated. The other kind of TV-made group is the survival show made, and like I said, documentary and survival show made groups, they have the same positive effect. But with survival shows, it's a lot more complicated because there's so many downsides that, like, I have to make that. It's just a lot. So I'm going to try my best to explain this in a way that's understandable. A lot of these cons, they crisscross, but I'm going to list them individually, so hopefully this makes sense. And these are cons. These are cons depending on who you ask, because from different perspectives, whether it's the fans, the producers, the idols themselves, some of these are cons and some of these aren't cons. So the first one is that a lot of these groups are often temporary. We've seen with the Produce 101 groups, IOI, ISO1, 101, they are all temporary. None of these groups are permanent. None of them are permanent. And, it really sucks because for people, as we know, music can be therapeutic to a lot of people. And there are people, and I'm going to say this with any artist, music saves lives. So these artists have saved the lives of so many people and have inspired so many people with their music. And it sucks because in the back of your mind, it doesn't matter how hard you stand them and how hard you beg, they're gonna disband. Like, under contract, they are going to disband. It's not even like groups don't last that long. No, Like the network will tell you from the minute this group is formed, their contract is for 2 years, and they don't have the option to renew their contract. They don't have the option, so they're going to disband whether you like it or not. Even if they don't want to disband, they have to disband. Like I remember when IOI was about to disband, my heart broke because you knew those girls did not want to disband. You knew you didn't want it to happen. You didn't want it to happen, but it was gonna happen. It sucks. It really sucks. It really does suck. A lot of these groups are temporary and we can't do anything about it. Another con is, some of the people on these shows, some of the contestants already have a following. Some of them already have a fan base, a decent chunk of fans to support them when they go on this show. For what I mean is like, some of them may have competed they might have already competed in a survival show that aired before whatever show they're on now came on. Perfect example of this is Somi. Somi was on 16 before she was on Produce 101, and she was popular on 16 too. She made it to the finals. She didn't win, but she made it to the finals. And I do believe that helped her out a lot. That helped her out a lot. There were some contestants that were already active as soloists, or they were already active in another group, or they still are active in a group before they came on the show. You know, Example, on Produce 101, you have Samuel. Samuel wasn't a part of 17 when they made their debut, but he was a part of 17 during the pre-debut days, and a lot of people know this, so he had a decent chunk of fans when he went on the show. Oh, he was also active in One Punch. Yeah, he was. I keep forgetting about One Punch. He was active in One Punch before he went on Produce 101. So Samuel already had a chunk of fans to support him when he went on the show. You had um with Produce, with the girl groups, you have the AKB48 members, and AKB48 is one of the most popular girl groups in the world, and so they had their fans when they went on the show, and some of the individual fans of AKB48 have fans in other fields of entertainment, like Sakura. Sakura has a gaming channel, and I'm sure she has a good amount of fans from her gaming channel supporting her on Produce 48. You had Newest and Hotshot, they had members to compete on Produce 101, and I'm sure that the fans of these groups helped them win, or they didn't necessarily win, but the fans that they had from their activities in that group really helped push them to the top. What's an example? I forgot her name. She's the leader of G Idol, the main rapper of G Idol. She was on it when she was on Unpretty Rap Star. She was on Unpretty Rap Star and she was on Produce 101, but she was on Produce 101 first, and then she was on Unpretty Rap Star. It was very, very obvious, very, very obvious on Unpretty Rap Star that her fans from Produce 101 were helping her win in the segments of the show where the fans had to vote for who they wanted to win certain challenges. And it wasn't just her, on Unpretty Rap Star and on Produce 101, they have the Unpretty Rap Star and Show Me the Money, they have the same issue. The contestants that are already active, that are already famous going on the show, have a huge advantage when they have to compete in challenges where the winner is determined by fan voting. Yubin and Hyoden unfortunately have this advantage when they were on Pretty Rap Star as well. But Yubin is Yubin, so I don't give a fuck. Hyoden is Hyoden, so whatever. Whatever, it's not necessarily something you can control, but it sucks for the people who don't have a following. It really sucks. There's another one as well. There are the people who already are signed. Like, how do I explain? Like, Trudy is someone, or Ashby. These are artists who were already signed to Mnet before they went on the show. So in a way, the producers were already because they were already signed, they were more likely to get an advantage in terms of airtime and screen time, and the judges it's a slight like theory, a hypothesis, I could be wrong, but the judges are more likely to critique the people who aren't signed to the TV network as artists harder than the ones that are. Because, like you saw this in Unpretty Rap Star, it seems like the judges refused to give Trudy a bad mark. The only way for Trudy to get a bad mark is if she obnoxiously messed up, because otherwise they kept praising her. And then as I came to find out, Trudy was already signed to Mnet, so kind of sucked. Kind of sucked. And that goes into another thing that I was going to say earlier. Producer interference. That's another con. Producer interference. Because there's two ways to win a survival show. A, the fans vote for you. They vote for you so hard that it's impossible to not put you in the final lineup. B, there's the judges and for the producers. So yes, the judges have a say in who gets to produce, because because at some point in time, your talents speak for yourself. So if the challenges that aren't left up to fans vote, and you win the challenge because you are the most talented person in that particular challenge, they can't dock you for that. They can't dock you for that, So there are some people who get put in these groups that honestly aren't that popular, but their talent got them in there, and you can't really fight that. And then there are the people who the producers want in the group, and the reason I say this is because a little birdie told me that, in ISO 1, there was supposed to be a lot more Japanese members. There was supposed to be a lot more Japanese members in ISO 1, but, due to political tensions between Korea and Japan, the Japanese members that were in the runnings, or the Japanese members that were basically going to be put into the final lineup, didn't get put in there. The producers switched them out. And other aspects go in there as well, the producers could just straight up just not like you. Like I was told by an informant, this is all alleged, by the way, everything I'm saying in regard to this is alleged, it's not fact, it's just alleged, is that Khan was told that she was too old and they weren't going to put her in the group. Even though Khan was a finalist, and she was in the top 10 for voting, she was too old, so they didn't put her in. And that sucks. Because Khan also had an advantage because she was a member of After School. So the fans that voted for her, a lot of the people that voted for her initially were also fans of After School. So there are times where it's pretty obvious that there's producer influence. It's very, very obvious. And it sucks because as much as we complain about it, nothing's going to change. Nothing is going to change. There's nothing we can do. With 16, with Twice, Momo had been eliminated. Momo wasn't even supposed to be in Twice. But the final episode, the producers wanted her in there. JYP wanted her in there, so she got put in there. She got put in there. And it sucks, This other con, it's not necessarily a bad thing. But, say this is after the group has disbanded, after the temporary group has disbanded, and this goes for groups like JBJ, because JBJ none of the members of JBJ 1 produced their season of Produce 101, but they were still formed because of Produce 101, and they are a temporary group. They were still a temporary group, so the same goes for them. And the other groups that formed, I know there was a girl, I think it was IBI. They count as well. I don't know if IBI was ever a thing, but I heard their name. Okay, but this is after the group has disbanded, and the trainees go back to their companies. The groups that are the contestants go back to their companies. Other contestants, they go back to their groups. So this is talking specifically more about the contestants that didn't come from an active group, and they get, like for example, like Weki Meki, Gugudan. Wait, I don't know if Gugudan was formed. Weki Meki. I'll just say Weki Meki, or Preston. No, wait. Preston? Yeah, Weki Meki and Preston, for example. It sucks because when I say that it sucks is because like the members that were in Produce. Oh, I'll say Weki Meki, Preston, and G Idol. The members of these groups that were on the survival shows are the most popular right out the bat. They are the most popular right out the bat. And it sucks for the other members of the groups because for the first 2-3 years of their activity, they're going to be living in these members' shadows because they have to figure out a way to get on the same level as these members. They got to get on the same level. They have to work much harder to make sure that they don't live in the shadow of these survival show contestants. I really hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Please tell me that makes sense. Um, like Somi. I'll use Somi for example. Somi, when she was under JYP, was gonna get placed in a group. The group was being made around her. And the thing that sucks about that is, if I'm getting placed into a group with Somi, I already know people are going to be looking at Somi most of the time. Yes, eventually I will get popular, but I have to work twice as hard to make sure that Somi doesn't overshadow me. I could be the best singer in that group, but Somi's in the group, so Somi gets more attention. I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. And personally, this is just my opinion. My opinion goes into this as well. My opinion with survival show groups is that, I prefer groups that, just started from scratch. And they train, and they get popular because of their music. I dislike groups that have that. This is okay. In my opinion, I do think that, with iKON and Winner, I'll use iKON and Winner because iKON and Winner are the groups that I really dislike. iKON and Winner, a lot of their pre-debut hype stemmed from the TV shows. A lot of their pre-debut hype stemmed from the TV shows that they were on. And honestly, I feel like the content that Winner and iKON released when they made their debut didn't live up to the hype. It did not live up to the hype. Honestly, the stuff that all the different stuff that they were doing on these survival shows, all the hell that you went through on these survival shows, and na 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 na, that's the first song you put out? Really? That's what you put out? Or what was the other? Winner released a bunch of ballads when they debuted, and it didn't make sense to me. All the issue went on that survival show was for this? That's what you put out? Then what it didn't make sense to me. It did not make sense to me. It didn't make sense. It just didn't make sense, So that's why I've really never been I usually don't watch survival shows. I normally don't watch survival shows because there's so many unfair factors that go into this show that I'd rather just stay in a group. I'd rather just stay in a group that just you auditioned for the company, got in the company, you trained, and made your debut. I cannot stay in a group where most of their hype comes from their pre-debut activities. It just didn't make sense to me how Winner and iKON breaking all these records. They were breaking all these records. They were winning music shows so quickly. Because honestly, people talk about how Winner and iKON they had music show wins right out the gate. Honestly, I will say this: if it wasn't for those TV shows that they were on, they would not have won those music shows that fast. They would not have those Mama Award nominations. They wouldn't have gotten a lot of the ish that they got when they made their debut if it wasn't for those survival shows. And it's specifically because of them as to why I don't like survival show based groups. Twice, when it comes to Twice, I'm a JYP stan. This is just me being biased. Anything that JYP does, I'm gonna love. So yes, I stan the fuck out of Twice. I stan the hell out of Twice. However, I will say Twice is also a girl group. So they didn't get the same amount of hype, of pre-debut hype, that iKON and Winner got. And plus, iKON and Winner were in the dungeon for I don't know how many years, didn't release any music, debut, and all of a sudden, you're winning these music shows? Doesn't make sense to me, bruh. Doesn't make sense. But y'all get what I'm saying. I hope this video makes sense. I really hope it does, because it's hot. There's survival shows. There's just too much fuckery that happens with survival shows. There's too much fuckery. There's too many factors. You don't know what's authentic. You don't know what's real. You don't know who's popular actually because of their music. You don't know who's popular for their talent. You don't know who's popular just because you don't know if someone's popular. You don't even know if someone's popular. The producers could have just put them in there, There's so much that just it makes the group seem inauthentic. It makes them, to me, K-pop is already manufactured as it is, and survival shows just make it seem even more manufactured. Even more manufactured, if that makes sense. You know? I hope this makes sense. I really hope y'all get what I'm saying. Anyways, you guys, I'm CD from AK3R. Subscribe if you want to see more videos. Follow me on social media. The links are in the description. Shout out to my co-hosts featured on this channel, past, present, and future. This is exhausting. I'm CD. Goodbye!